Now, it's something that probably many of us do as parents, but not on live TV. Gordon Ramsay was so proud of his daughter Tilly on Strictly on Saturday night. He cried. There he is. I'm sure they were happy, proud tears. But it did get us thinking, you know, should parents cry in front of their children? Is it something you do? Do you think, oh, they shouldn't see us like that because we're supposed to be strong? Judy, did you cry in front of your kids?
Do you know what? I remember the days where, you know, I've had situations where I've gone into the bathroom and made sure I've cried my heart out and then come back out with my face fresh so the kids don't see me. But as I've got older and losing my parents in that stage of grief, I have shed tears in front of them. But what I've done is made them know what it is. You know, Mummy's crying because I really miss Grandma, or I just smelt something that reminded me of Grandma, or, you know, I heard a song, and then I try to embrace it in that way. Because I think it's important for children to understand it's OK to express their emotions in a safe space. And me and my kids, we have moments where, you know, once a month we sit together and we talk about things where I'm not allowed to get upset. And, you know, emotions will arise. And I think from that, it's helped my son to understand how to be a bit more compassionate. My daughter sees that more vulnerable side of me.
So when you say that, you mean you have a kind of dedicated time?
Yeah.
They sit down, they can talk without you.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to get upset, so they will voice whatever they're feeling, any emotions, you know, about, you know, things that's happened or what they're feeling. And, you know, that, as a mum, when I hear my children upset about something and they're telling me now, obviously I feel emotional and we feel safe in that space to have that. But I think it's so important for them to, for me anyway, not always know Mum is just this strong bull. I feel things, you know, I need to be compassionate, I need to be cared for, this is what Mum is feeling. And always try to make it a happy kind of... if I am crying about my mum or something, I'll say, oh, let's dance to this song afterwards. But I remember growing up with my mum, when she cried, I didn't like it because I kind of could always sense that if she cried for something, it was a worry or a stress. And unfortunately, because my mum had so many, like, strokes, when she did get upset, I would worry that she was going to be sick. And then on top of that, being a West Indian Jamaican woman, her cry was a little bit higher. It wasn't like, you know, little Sally cry. It was like a, Jesus Christ! It was like one of those big, like, cries. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's going on? And I think I've picked up a bit of that cry.
You cry like that?
Yeah, I can cry. Yeah, I bawl. We call it bawling.
Really?
I can bawl like that, but I reserve it. I try to hold it as much as possible. So I think from that, having those experiences, it's made... I remember how I felt, so I always think, let me try a different strategy with the kids.
It's actually, it can be... Purpose, I mean, I remember seeing my dad cry for the first time, and it was after, well, my granddad, his father, was very, very ill and close to death. I didn't know that, and I'd been playing out at the park. I remember kind of running into the house, and it was like somebody stopped me in my tracks because my dad was sitting at the dining table with his head in his hands, properly sobbing, with my mum there with her arm around him, and then she saw me, and I just remember stopping because I'd never didn't know dads cried, especially not my big, strong dad, and my mum kind of ushered me out and explained to me why he was crying. So it can scare children, particularly when they're young.
When they're very young, Yeah, I think, you know, if you're talking about, you know, when they're at that age where they, you know, toddlers probably don't get it, but then from 4 upwards to whatever, I think they can get it, and it can scare you or just upset you as a kid. I never really saw my parents cry. I don't think there's anything wrong with crying. I think people should be, you know, feel comfortable enough to cry in front of you, but I have a problem with it. That's my issue. It's like I can cry, but I always stop myself. I'll never just let it out.
Properly break down.
Yeah, you know, a proper good cry, I always pull it back. Why? I think because I'm terrified that if I start, I won't stop. You know, if I think too much about what I'm crying about, i.e. whether it's my family, but, you know, my sister's being sick, all of those things, or losing Bernie, any of those things, I think I have to pull this back because I'm not going to stop. And then I won't want to get out of bed and I won't want to do things and nothing will be worth it. So I kind of pull it back and go, OK, you've had your moment, now move on. Yeah, it's not going to change anything, so move on. What do your children do when you cry? You know, do they go, oh, Mum, but then you go, it's all right, I'm fine now? Yeah, so I have had moments where I have, you know, cried and they've put their arms around me, and then I go, you know, I'll cry and then I go, no, I'm fine, honestly, I'm fine. Let's put the kettle on. Everyone's different, Dame, aren't they? Do you cry in front of your kids? Have you?
Well, it's funny, because I was looking at Gordon there, and that's happy tears.
Yeah. That's different.
So it's completely different, I think, and it's. I mean, I cry a lot in films, and then the kids put all the lights on at the end, and they go, "Are you crying? Are you crying?" Yeah. And as for going in the bathroom and coming out 5 minutes later, I can't do that because when I've cried, my face looks revolting for the rest of the day, like puffy and red and
swollen eyes.
Yeah, I'm not one of those, you know, pretty criers at all, but. What I try not to do, and I think grief, I think it's really important to show kids that you can grieve openly, that there's no shame in crying over grief. What I try not to do with my kids when they were young was show fright. Because I think with parents, you kind of look to your parents for reassurance, don't you? And if you're in a sort of a slightly intimidating situation and you show fright, your kids are going to get frightened. So that's but other than that, no, I think it's good to have
I think, like you said, it depends on the situation. I think it's good to show that you can grieve and that your children need to see that's real life, isn't it?
I think that's healthy,
yeah.